We go region by region first.
I think go region by region.
So we'll start with the western Uttar Pradesh. And remember, in western Uttar Pradesh, there are three regions. So there's Doab, there's Braj, and there's Rohilkhand. We'll take Doab first. In Doab, you've got Bagpat, Bulandshahr, Noida, Ghaziabad, Meerut, Muzaffarnagar, Saharanpur, and Shamli. In the Doab region, Access My India is predicting for the India Today group that the BJP will get 34 seats, and when it comes to vote share, 47% of the vote share. The SP will get 37% of the vote share. So a 10% gap between the BJP and the SP when it comes to Doab. Let's now come to Braj. Braj has 40 seats. In these 40 seats are the seats of Agra, Aligarh, Etah, Firozabad, Hathras, Mainpuri, and Mathura. So when it comes to the vote shares in the region of the Braj area, 47% of the vote share for the BJP, 34% of the vote share for the Samajwadi party. So a 13% difference. However, the moment you come to Rohilkhand, here there are 52 seats. Here the battle is much tighter. In Rohilkhand, you've got Amroha, Bareilly, Bijnor, Badaयूं, Moradabad, Pilibhit, Rampur, Sambhal, and Shahjahanpur. Here in these 52 seats, when you look at these numbers, it's a very tight fight. 44% vote share for the Samajwadi party, 43% for the BJP. SP actually ahead of the BJP in Rohilkhand by 1% of the votes. Let's now come to Purvanchal. This is Eastern Uttar Pradesh, 139 seats in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, including Varanasi, which went to polls today, Siddharthnagar, Sonbhadra, Shravasti, Sant Kabir Nagar, Gonda, Gorakhpur, Jaunpur, Kaushambi, Ambedkar Nagar, Azamgarh, Balia, Balrampur, among others. Here, if you look at the vote share, and this is interesting because this is where the Samajwadi party was hoping to do well. 34% of the vote share for the SP, the BJP in Eastern Uttar Pradesh at 46% vote share. A 12% gap between the SP and the BJP in that crucial belt of Purvanchal in Eastern UP. Let's now come to Central UP, the area of Awadh. In Awadh, you've got 109 seats. This includes places like Amethi, Auraiya, Ayodhya, Bharuch, Barabanki, Etawah, Farrukhabad, Fatehpur, Lakhimpur Kheri, Unnao, Sultanpur, Sitapur, Lucknow, and Raebareli. Here, it's interesting to see that there is a massive gap between the SP and the BJP. 48 plays 37. Akhilesh Yadav's SP at 37, the BJP at 48, the BSP only at 10. A huge 11% gap between the BJP and the SP in the area of Awadh. From here, let's now come to Central Uttar. So, one second, I want to go across now to Bundelkhand. Bundelkhand has 19 seats. In Bundelkhand, 47% of the vote share is going to the BJP, 30% of the vote share is going to the Samajwadi party. That's in Bundelkhand, in places like Chitrakoot, Hamirpur, Jalayu, Jhansi, Lalitpur, and Mahoba. Let's now come to seats.
You want to wait for the seats and hold a bit of suspense?
We can do that.
Let's wait for the, because you know, I think people are going to be surprised by the numbers. First reactions, therefore, to the numbers that Rahul has just thrown in terms of percentages. Preeti Chaudhary, you travel through all these parts. As Rahul's poll says, in almost all these regions, the BJP seems to have virtually a double-digit lead at times over the rivals. Are you surprised? Especially Western UP and Rohilkhand, where you expected the kind of alliance that Akhilesh had struck with the RLD to provide a real opposition to the BJP.
Well, you know, Rajdeep, yes, I am surprised because at least anecdotally, what I'd seen more than even Western UP, if I may add, I thought Purvanchal is where I actually saw a bigger buzz for the Samajwadi party. And that's a huger gap is what, what we predicted right now. So what I felt, BJP did have an edge, but having said that, this massive difference in terms of vote percentage, no, I would not have gauged that as a reporter on ground. Because on ground, what seemed to suggest is it's har seat phasi hui hai. It's neck and neck. Every seat is tight. So, you know, as a reporter, it's very difficult to gauge then. So, I am surprised. I was thinking BJP had a marginal edge. This is way more than marginal with what it looks like in percentage.
But you know, the fact is the SP was relying on its alliances with the RLD in the Jat, Muslim, Yadav belts of Western and Rohilkhand, and was relying on its smaller caste-based alliances with the likes of Om Prakash Rajbhar's party, Sanjay Chauhan's party in eastern Uttar Pradesh. None of it seems to be working as per the numbers that at the moment Rahul has given. SP is doing well only in the Yadav strongholds, not outside the Yadav strongholds, is one clear signal that's coming in at the moment. Are you surprised with what you're hearing and seeing at the moment, Rahul Verma?
I love to get surprised on every exit poll and on elections. That's why I study them. The second point, you know, about see, there was a big gap between SP and BJP going into the polls. It was a double-digit gap.
Yes.
Yes, it's possible that you could do it, like SP could have managed to fill that gap, but it's very, very hard to do it second consecutive time. Third, and this is again among the myths of Indian politics, that you get small parties and you can count the whole caste coming with that. Most of these small parties, small caste parties, do not have a proven track record of contesting alone and being able to mobilize the entire caste. They only do well in addition to some big political party, right? So all what we were thinking that, okay, because he's got a OP Rajbhar or Sanjay Nishad and other things, now the SP can basically bring all these castes together. That's one of the biggest mistake we do, that these caste leaders can mobilize the entire caste with them.
Sanjay Kumar, you've been tracking UP. Are you surprised? We've not given the numbers yet, but just in vote share, in most of the areas, the BJP is convincingly ahead, except for Rohilkhand and Mainpuri and Kannauj, the traditional Yadav strongholds. Anywhere outside that, even Western UP, the locus of the farm agitation, the BJP is holding its own versus the SP-RLD alliance.
Rajdeep, I am a little surprised about the unevenness of the lead BJP has been able to take over Samajwadi party in different regions. There are a couple of regions where Samajwadi party has taken lead over BJP, but the kind of lead BJP has been able to take in many regions, I am surprised about that. Even in 2017...
But is it, Sanjay ji, really uneven? Because only in Rohilkhand, the SP is ahead of the BJP by 1%.
That's right.
Everywhere else, there's at least a 10% gap between the two parties. In Bundelkhand, the gap is 17%.
And this is the poorest area of UP for our viewers. So the poorer areas are actually voting Rahul even more strongly for the BJP. Yes, Sanjay Kumar.
But even in, see, if a party has taken lead of say 10-12% in all the regions, I am surprised about the other region. Then that how come the party is trailing by 1% in one region? Even if you look at the 2017 assembly election results, BJP swept the entire UP, and the difference in vote share of BJP was not dramatically different in different regions. Yes, in the eastern region which went to poll today, the BJP's vote share was less, 31%.
But could it just be demography and the percentage of Muslim voters in seats like Amroha, in seats like Bareilly, in seats like Moradabad, Pilibhit, Rampur?
There has to be some factors. There has to be demographic differences from different regions. And we know that since people belonging to different caste communities vote differently, that is the reason why a party gets higher vote share in one region and lesser vote share in other region. But the kind of difference which the polls are predicting, I am a little surprised about that kind of a difference.
No one has travelled as much through UP as Rahul Srivastava. As I said, he's a Chora Ganga Kinare Wala. He is from Agra, original.
Yes.
And as I've seen on Neta Nagri in Lallan Top, wonderful Shire. ये क्या हो रहा है आपके राज्य में? You know, this is, we've had elections in UP, Rahul, where we've had clear majorities in the past, 2007, 12, 17. Are you surprised with the vote share? Rahul hasn't yet given us the seat share, but the vote share, has it left you surprised, just the scale, even in Western UP, where 47 is playing 37 in Doab and Braj? Heartland, we thought of the farmers' agitation.
Razib, it surprises me.
Yes.
It surprises me because the BJP's own internal survey, in Paschim region losing 36 seats, in Braj region losing 16, in Kanpur losing 22, Awadh 26, Gorakhpur 29, Kashi 29. Then I will come to the majority dominating castes of which the BJP calculates what is called the PCPA, political affinity. Now, Brahmins had voted 100%. The BJP is predicting 25% drift away from the BJP. Kurmi 50%, Jat 50%, Gujar 50%, Rajbar 50%, Bind 50%, Kushwaha 50%, Jatav, which had voted 35 to 40% for them, 15%. Only 26 castes the BJP feels are going to be 100% with it, which are Thakur, Kais, Bania, Bhumiyar, Maurya, Lodh, Saini and Shakya. Now, in that scenario, if the BJP is looking at 50% Jat drift, Rajdeep, in this region, the Jat vote is actually as a very interesting entity, Rajdeep, because the Jats maintained their Chodrahat despite being only half of the Muslim population in any constituency in Western UP. They became the leaders because of the Muslim votes, actually.
Okay.
They lost that. They lost that because of becoming part of a big pool called the BJP.
You're sitting next to a Jat who, let's be clear.
Known for the Chodrahat.
2013, let's put it in context. 2013, Muzaffarnagar happens. 2014, the BJP gets the benefit of the growing Jat Muslim divide that takes place in the aftermath of the riot. It sustains till 2017. General reporting from the ground suggested that this time, because of the tie-up between RLD and SP, because it's now 8 years, because of the farmers' agitation, the Jats now are going to reassert their original identity, come together with the Muslims, and this could be the winning card. As per the exit poll, that is not happening. Are you surprised? That's what I come back to, Preeti. This is one of the big surprises of UP. We'll come to Purvanchal and other areas in a moment.
No, this doesn't surprise me, Rajdeep, because when I was on ground, the Jat was split. I don't think they voted as an identity of a Kisan. They voted as an identity of a Hindu. And why so, I'll tell you. The ghosts of the riots were very much present when you spoke to a lot of them. And the reason which I'll tell you, if, let's say, the RLD had tied up with any other party, it would have worked out for a lot of Jat community members. The reason that they tied up with the Samajwadi party, the way Samajwadi party is perceived to have dealt with the riots, and the aftermath of the riots is something that a lot in the community cannot forget.
So basically the Samajwadi party still carries the baggage of the past.
And for an RLD, so they will not let a Samajwadi party candidate stand on an RLD ticket. They will not हैंड पंप नहीं दाबेंगे अगर सपा का खड़ा होगा सपा को नहीं दबाएंगे क्योंकि आरएलडी साथ
बट आरएलडी को भी इतने वोट नहीं आ रहे जितने we thought they would get. So it's all clearly working at the moment as per vote share heavily in front of the BJP. How big is Pradeep Gupta and Axis My India predicting? Rahul, take over. Give us the numbers that we've been waiting for. Uttar Pradesh, kaun jeetega Uttar Pradesh? Rahul Kanwal, over to you.
Okay, get your pens out or your calculators. And let's get started. I'm going to look at Western UP first. In Western UP, there are three regions, Doab, Rohilkhand and Braj. So we'll start with Doab. Here, there are 44 seats. Out of these 34 seats, what you're seeing on your screen is the vote share right now, 47 versus 37. If we convert this into seats, Axis My India predicts for India today that out of the 44 seats of Doab, the BJP is likely to get 34. This is areas like Bagpat, Bulandshahr, Noida, Ghaziabad, Hapur, Meerut, Muzaffarnagar, Saharanpur and Shamli. 34 versus 9. This is largely phase 1, where the SP was expected to do well, but it doesn't seem to have materialized on the ground in the same way according to this Axis My India poll. 34 versus 9. Let's now come to Braj Bhumi. 40 seats in Braj, and this includes seats like Agra, Aligarh, Etah, Firozabad, Hathras, Kasganj, Mainpuri and Mathura. 47 versus 34 is the gap when it comes to vote share. When converted into seats, 34 of these seats to the BJP, 6 to the Samajwadi party. The others don't open their accounts. In the second region as well, the BJP doing smashingly well. Let's now come to Rohilkhand. Here, the SP is actually 1% ahead of the BJP when it comes to vote share. In seats like Amroha, Bareilly, Bijnor, Badaयूं, Moradabad, Pilibhit, Rampur, Sambhal and Shahjahanpur. Here, when we convert this into seats, it's 30 for the BJP, 21. So it's tighter. But even where SP is putting up its supposed best performance, there's a 9-seat gap. 30 plays 21, 30 for Yogi Adityanath and the BJP, 21 for the SP. Let's now cut across to the phases right at the end, the 139 seats of Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Purvanchal. So this includes places like Ambedkar Nagar, Azamgarh, Balia, Balrampur, Gonda, Gorakhpur, Jaunpur, Pratapgarh, Prayagraj, Varanasi, Maharajganj. Here, if you look at the 139 seats, 46 versus 34. So a 12% gap when it comes to vote share. When translated into seats, Access My India predicts for the India Today group that in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, the BJP is likely to bag a whopping 96 seats, the SP only 36, the BSP 3, the Congress 2. 96 versus 36. That is a sweep for the BJP in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, which is where a lot of pundits who are traveling to these Akhilesh rallies thought that there is a big SP wave building. The poll doesn't reflect that. Let's now come to Central Uttar Pradesh, the area of Awadh. 109 seats here. Here, the vote share gap between the two formations is 37 versus 48, so an 11% gap. This includes places like Amethi, Ayodhya, Bharaich, Barabanki, Etawah, Farrukhabad, Gonda, Hardoi, Kannauj, Kanpur, Lakhimpur Kheri, Lucknow, Raebareli, Sitapur, Sultanpur and Unnao. Here again, out of these 109 seats, a sweep for the BJP, 94 plays 14. That's the Access My India, India Today poll. So if you got your calculators up and you're calculating, it's building to a BJP wave. Let's now come to Bundelkhand. Bundelkhand is the most impoverished part of Uttar Pradesh. 19 seats here in places like Mahoba, Lalitpur, Jhansi, Jalgaon, Hamirpur, Chitrakoot and Banda. Here in Banda and in the other areas, out of these 19 seats, the Access My India, India Today poll actually predicts that the BJP might end up with all. So nobody gets to open their account in Bundelkhand. That's what this poll is predicting. So essentially, Rajdeep, Yogi and Modi double engine ki sarkar like Sachin and Sehwag have whacked everyone else out of the park.
Should I give the big number?
Yeah, absolutely. Come.
You know, when you look at these big numbers, and I know they're stunning, Rahul, but we've seen election results in recent times give these stunning numbers. Take a look, Rahul, at where we stand. Rahul's given you a region by region breakup, and it's fascinating. Every region BJP well ahead, some more than others. It's time, therefore, to give you the big numbers, the make or break numbers. Uttar Pradesh, 403 seats on offer. What is the Access My India exit poll from UP saying? Look at these numbers. Sensational. 288 to 326. We are predicting a sweep of the same that the BJP won with 315 seats last time. 288 to 326. So halfway point is about 305 seats. Over 300 is what is being predicted. Yogi Adityanath could then do what no one has done so far in the history of Uttar Pradesh since actually ever, 5 years as Chief Minister and then win again. It's never been done. Not since 1985 has a government been re-elected. This is history if it happens. Akhilesh Yadav plus allies 71 to 101. Improvement over when he was tying up with the Congress, but still well behind as per this poll. Mayawati, the mighty Mayawati who won a majority in 2007 is down to single digits as per this poll, 3 to 9. That may not be a surprise. Many people feared the worst for her. Congress, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra addressed 172 rallies plus road shows, 1 to 3. Others is 2 to 3 at the moment. This is an absolute landslide which is being predicted. And if this is true, it could completely realign our understanding of UP politics, and it could mean that the BJP is now got the momentum to go into 2024 as well, because when you win Uttar Pradesh by these margins, it gives you the momentum. It could crush the opposition in India's most populous state. I hate to say I told you so, but there's a column I wrote 10 days ago saying BJP clear lead, for which I was attacked. But this is what the numbers are showing at the moment. I could be horribly wrong, both in my column. These numbers could be wrong. These are only predictions. I had said the BJP had a lead. I gave 5 factors. You can read that column, but let's get our experts to give us the view. Is anyone surprised here? Please raise their hands if you're shocked. Preeti, you're surprised with these numbers. You believe that it's a much tighter race. Am I correct?
Well, you know, Rajdeep, if I can these numbers suggest a wave. This is a wave election then. If 326 is the number that the BJP is actually going up to anywhere over 285, this is a wave election. I didn't catch a wave as a reporter on ground. I did not catch it. I caught that wave in...
You caught anger? Did you catch anger?
In pockets, yes. In pockets, yes.
Is that anger?
Deep-seated anger in pockets. So I've always maintained this is a really tight contest. It's a tough fight. Every district you'd go to, every district would say, 9 seats hain, 9 ki 9 phasi hui hain.
So you're saying that it is a much tighter contest.
I would think it's with BJP.
And I think most of us would not have predicted a 300 plus, certainly. Let's be very clear.
Including the BJP at the center.
That's right. You know,
Yogi Adityanath was saying 300 plus.
Sure.
BJP at the center was saying 220, say 250.
You know, Rahul, I thought the BJP is ahead, as I said, because I think I didn't sense that kind of sharp anti-incumbency. I believe that the BJP has crafted a much wider social base. I thought Hindutva, law and order, and critically free ration. As I said, ration in the gaon, shasan in urban areas, law and order plus ration. And look at the numbers. And this is the critical number that I want our cephologists to really explore. Maybe Rahul, you want to explore this first. BJP among men, 44%, SP 40, BSP 10. Congress 3, others 3. Go to women. BJP plus 48, SP plus 32, BSP 14, Congress 3, others 3. 16% gap among women voters. If 50% of the population is voting 16% more, and remember in phases 5, 6, women voter turnout is 10 and 8% more than men. It's a done deal. That's where Pradeep is getting his numbers. The woman, Mahila voter, Ladki hu, Lad Sakti hu is what Priyanka Gandhi said, but the Ladki has gone, it appears as per this poll, fully with the BJP, Shasan plus Ration. Your views?
So first, it's possible that we get these numbers. I'm a bit skeptical on the size of...
The scale of it.
Yes.
I think we all are.
Yeah. And second, I want to basically, if these numbers are true, 48 versus 32 gap among women voters, this would be the highest gender gap anywhere in the country. Even Mamta just had 6 to 8 point advantage.
You're saying ever?
Yes, 16% gap for a political party, especially for BJP. BJP actually before 2014 used to trail among women voters. Now the trends have reversed. So reversal, but this kind of reversal in UP, 16 percentage point.
One of the women ministers of this government, Anupriya Patel, joins us from the Apna Dal. Her family was split, but the voters in Uttar Pradesh seem to have backed the BJP Apna Dal alliance very strongly, and a 16% gap in favor of the BJP among women voters. 32% women voting for the SP, 48% for the BJP alliance. There hasn't ever been such a big gap among women voters, and that could be one of the biggest takeaways from this election. Anupriya Patel. Ma'am, can you hear me, Anupriya ji?
Yes,
Anupriya ji, can you hear me? Okay, so my question is, first and foremost, congratulations.
Yes.
As far as these exit polls are concerned, your alliance seems to be winning and winning in style. Are these numbers bigger than what you would have expected, Anupriya ji?
Well, I have always maintained since the very beginning of this election that NDA will retain power and we will make a grand comeback in Uttar Pradesh, and now your exit polls are talking the same language. So I am not surprised, maybe the others would be, but I am not surprised. I was always confident we are coming back, and now we see the same happening.
And we're talking about the significance of women voters. Amongst women, 16% more women have voted for the BJP than they did for the Samajwadi party. Amongst men, the gap is only 4%. But amongst women, the gap is much bigger, suggesting that the BJP alliance is able to pull women disproportionately to their ticket.
Certainly, this is not without a reason. A lot of our schemes was centered around women. You know, the toilets that we constructed, they have gone a long way in addressing the basic needs of women voter in the rural areas or the urban areas. Then the gas cylinders under the Ujjwala scheme, which reach the women in the households. Also, the housing facilities that we provided to the common man, the common voter, the ownership is in the name of a woman. So, women voters have seen that the government has a pro-women approach insofar as the pro-poor welfare schemes are concerned, and which I think is the biggest force that has been instrumental in creating or building more faith in the minds of the women voter towards the NDA-led government, and which is why we see such a big gap in the percentage of women voter turning out to vote in favor of the NDA alliance candidates.
Thank you very much, Anupriya ji, for joining us. Also, Sanjay.
Can I ask Anupriya
Yeah, go
one question? Anupriya ji, your old friend Rajdeep Sardesai here.
Yes.
You tell me, Anupriya ji, you know,
Yes,
your party,
Rajiv ji.
the Kurmi voter, you know, there was so much of talk about the non-Yadav voters. That 35% was going to be critical to this election. The BJP was seen to have the upper caste with them. The SP had Muslim Yadav solidly behind them. 35% non-Yadav voter OBCs, including Kurmis, would make a difference. Was this election at the end of the day fought along those lines, or are you saying that issues like Ration, Shasan, Ujwala, they go beyond these caste lines if these numbers are right? If, it's a big if these numbers are right. Because Preeti is saying, har constituency mein takkar hai.
Look now, to be... No, both factors are equally important. Look, you cannot deny caste equations in the poll battle of Uttar Pradesh or any other state for that matter. Caste equations and caste arithmetic is important, and every party tries to, create that balance in the caste arithmetic, and the OBC voter in Uttar Pradesh constitute a sizable population, more than 50%. So you cannot ignore such a big chunk of population, because eventually your voter is coming from that population only. So definitely it makes a difference. And then insofar as the pro-poor welfare schemes are concerned, because the schemes have reached people without discrimination, and because the sizable and the considerable population is made up of the OBC voters, so definitely the OBCs, a large chunk would have benefited out of these schemes, which we are saying has created a faith in their heart towards the NDA-led alliance. So everything put together, we see this, this whole election turning in favor of NDA, and NDA coming
I have a bit of
making a grand
concern.
comeback in Uttar Pradesh.
This
for
is
getting another
largely on behalf of
opportunity to
everyone who's watching, because so far there was an election cap on price rise when it comes to petroleum products. We're just hearing that starting 6 a.m. tomorrow, CNG prices in Delhi likely to go up by about 50 paisa per kg to 1 kilo per kilogram. That's just CNG. This is likely to happen in diesel, petrol. So basically that election moratorium on increase in petroleum prices seems to be over, Anupriya ji.
Ask about free ration. Will it continue?
Honestly, I'm really not aware of this development, so I wouldn't really know what to react to this. But no decision was ever made keeping elections in mind. We have a pure intent to serve the common voter of Uttar Pradesh or the whole country insofar as our government of India is concerned. And I would really not like to comment on this.
But that's outside the UP syllabus.
No, but Anupriya ji, let me be honest. When you were on the ground, we saw Mehngai was an issue. Berozgari was a big issue among the young people. Avara Pashu, stray cattle, huge issue. People are angry, were disillusioned over these issues. Are you telling me that Ration and Shasan were enough to overcome that? You cannot tell me that people on the ground were not disillusioned. We met a number of young people saying, Naukri hi nahi hai.
Okay, I have two things to say. Stray cattle menace, yes, it does exist in UP. Our government tried to address this menace. We tried to construct Gau Ashray Sthal, but I would still admit that efforts were not sufficient, and which is why Prime Minister, while addressing a rally, said that in the next regime we will do more to curb this menace. And when we spoke to the voter on ground, they did come up with this concern, but we also told them that we will do more. And they were in favor of the NDA alliance, because law and order was such a big issue. that the voter had big fear in their heart that if the Samajwadi party-led alliance comes to power in Uttar Pradesh, then maybe the stray cattle menace is a smaller one, but a bad law and order would be too difficult a menace to handle. So that kind of, became a bigger issue, and this became a smaller issue. Nevertheless, I would still say that yes, the problem still exists and we need to address it, and we will try, we will leave no stone unturned to address this problem. It is a serious
despite this
issue which
sweep
persists.
or seeming sweep,
and yes,
there
you
is a
also
big
raised
cause
an
of
issue about
concern
employment generation.
from the BJP's perspective, and that is this. Amongst voters who are in the age group of 18 to 25, the BJP leads the Samajwadi party by only 1%, 41 versus 40. 40 for the SP, BJP 41. Anywhere else, the gap is 14%, 13%, 12% and 14%. But when it comes to that young and the restless voter, 18 to 25, the gap, ma'am, is only 1%. And that, despite this jubilation, is the one question mark that hangs over this result, Anupriya ji.
Well, okay, if that is the analysis, I would say that since you had raised the issue of employment generation also, we did face COVID pandemic, which kind of disrupted the whole economic scenario. And yes, this was a serious issue. But we also were successful in explaining to the young aspirational voter that we are, employment generation is high on our agenda, and we have created a roadmap to have better employment generation in our next regime. The ease of doing business ranking has improved. We have been able to create massive infrastructure across the state, whether it is roads or railways or waterways, airports, electricity, everything has improved, and we have also an improved law and order situation. So we have paved way for getting larger investments, and there are big organizations, big investors who are showing interest in UP. They see now UP as a preferable destination for investment. So maybe in our next regime, we will be able, we have decided, set a target of getting 10 lakh crores of investment. So that is a kind of argument we have put forth to the young voter, and I think to a great extent we have been able to convince them.
Okay, we'll leave it over there. Anupriya Patel, thank you for joining us. Sanjay Kumar, how do you explain that amongst this 18 to 25 voter, the gap between BJP and SP is only 1%. In any other category, it's at least 12, going up to 14%.
Frankly, Rahul, I don't think I'm in a position to explain that in one group, which is the young voters. I do get a sense from the ground. I also got the sense that, yes, there is a huge disenchantment among the young voters because unemployment is on the rise, price rise on the rise. So that disenchantment can bring the gap between Samajwadi party and BJP so close, just 1%. But what suddenly happens to those voters who are not in that age group, that the gap suddenly increases in favor of BJP by say 12, 14 or 15%. So really, Rahul, I don't have an explanation to this, and I'm a little skeptical about this data about why there's just only 1% gap and suddenly it increases to such a huge number.
I'll tell you why I think so, and then you can take it to the guest. My belief is, I'm again trying to plug my article, Rahul. Here it is. In UP polls, the BJP has a clear edge.
When it comes to marketing his content,
but I want
is
to
like Shah Rukh Khan.
No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why what's happened. The youth are angry. There are two narratives that took place in UP. There was a narrative of berozgari, of mehengai, of avara pashu. There was a narrative in UP of ration, of shasan as described as law and order, and I will tell you this at the risk of being called politically incorrect, anti-Muslim sentiment as mirrored in Hindutva. These are three competing different narratives. I believe that the narrative of avara pashu, of mehengai, made people feel disappointed with this government, also COVID management, but not angry enough to vote against the BJP, which got, Rahul, we forget, 49.5% of the vote just 2 years ago. We sometimes forget that, 49.5% in Lok Sabha elections. So they were angry, but not angry enough to vote against. On the other hand, those who was on ration, which is welfareism, those who spoke, Rahul, the language of shasan, law and order, and those who felt the ye jo sarkarein hai, hamari Hinduon ki sarkar hai, they were much more willing to still stand by the BJP. And just a final point, Look at the politics of UP, and Rahul Srivastava knows it even better than it. Since 1990, Mulayam Singh has been Chief Minister thrice, Mulayam plus Akhilesh. Mayawati has been 4 times. 30 years you've given them a chance. Number of people I met said, इनको तो मौका दिया है, इनको केवल 5 साल दिए हैं, इनको 5 साल और देते हैं. This is a vote, if these numbers are right, of the poor. Those poor who are getting those DBT delivery benefits. Narendra Modi's government has failed, in my view, on jobs, but has succeeded on last mile delivery of basic welfare benefits. And those basic welfare benefits in COVID times, when I get 5 kilos of rice, when I get atta, when I get namak, and when I get oil, helps me. I saw it with Pinarayi Vijayan. Pinarayi Vijayan did in Kerala what no one had done for 40 years, defeated anti-incumbency. But our friend, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, is possibly doing what no one has done in 40 years, defeat anti-incumbency.
And it takes away
last mile delivery.
Some of the disappointment amongst BJP voters on the back of what happened in West Bengal. So now West Bengal is forgotten. They say, "Dekho UP mein kya kiya."
देखिए, one thing very important, the decisive leadership of Narendra Modi. You know, the Prime Minister Modi has heavily impacted on Uttar Pradesh, and this Uttar Pradesh verdict is going to endorse his philosophy, his governance. One important thing that Bharatiya Janata Party has expanded its social base. Traditionally, we think that it's an upper caste party, but the party has expanded. That is not being analyzed and seen, because you just see that this leader is capturing this caste vote, this party is capturing this caste vote. You go to Jat land, you will find a larger number of Jat are associating with the Bharatiya Janata Party ideology. Second important, the Hindutva is not anti-Muslim. You know, the kind of governance Yogi Adityanath ji has given, that is significant for the people, law and order. Just see the infrastructure development. Without infrastructure development, you can't imagine a state can grow in economy. Unprecedented infrastructure growth in Uttar Pradesh.
यूपी शाइनिंग नहीं है, कोई यूपी शाइनिंग नहीं है. मैं गांव में गया हूं, प्रीति गई है. राहुल सर, आप जानिए, लोगों की बेरोजगारी है.
आप सुन लीजिए.
Rajdeep, if they win 288 seats,
no.
1 second, Rajdeep, if they win 288 seats, people want them back, and they want them back in
Yes,
style.
I've given you the reasons.
No, it is your verdict. It's not the people's verdict. Let me finish my point. You know, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given Uttar Pradesh another identity. The soft power of the Uttar Pradesh that is being projected. The Kasi Vishwanath, the kind of thing after 400 years.
The government has done some good work. Nobody doubts that.
Law and order, you are giving important.
I agree. On law and order, I give the government.
Not a single communal right has taken place in the last 5 years.
Yes, Rahul, very quickly, then we've got 4 guests waiting.
Rajdeep, this is what I said initially. How potent the subterranean Hindutva element is in UP, that will decide, and the marginalized. Why I say marginalized? If you see the Jat land, in that area also, the BJP has a combination of Senis, Pals, Prajapati, Kashyaps and others who actually become 40% of the population. Along with the upper caste, if you add them, the BJP has the arithmetic rise, Rajdeep. That's where these marginalized come in. BJP's arithmetic is intact, could well be intact, and the BJP could be doing. But 326, Rajdeep, is utopian.
Yeah, so we don't know.
No, even 288, Rajdeep, is definitely not happening.
Okay.
The BJP is going to lose at least 80
Thanks,
seats
Rahul
in UP.
Srivastava, for that resounding vote of confidence.
Landslide victory.
Okay, landslide victory versus Rahul predicting a much closer fight. That makes it exciting. Go ahead, Rahul. We've got lots of guests.
We've got Supriya Shirne joining us, who I assume won't be very pleased with the results, and with good reason. Sanju Verma joins us from the BJP. Sharad Pradhan joins us. Sandeep Shastri is with us. I want to go across to Supriya Shirne first, because we haven't heard from the Congress on Uttar Pradesh, despite all the efforts Priyanka Gandhi Vadra made in UP. When it comes to seat share, the Congress projected to bag only between 1 and 3. And when it comes to vote share, the Congress could slip from 6.2% to close to about 3%. Supriya, welcome.
Thank you very much, and a very good evening to all of you. Firstly, these aren't results like you said. This is an exit poll, and let's treat it like that, because exit polls in Bengal were also predicting a BJP victory. The palpable anger on the ground, and whoever was talking about infrastructure, I did not know who was talking about infrastructure, has perhaps forgotten how UP is one state with the number of people who are unemployed, It is a state that has seen bodies float. It is a state which has seen encounters happen. And in the name of law and order, you have a chief minister who says bulldozer and thok do. So let's not step ahead of ourselves and let's not run away with this. This is an exit poll. And please understand this, for all of you, and I know many of you have visited UP all across, when you sat in cabs and asked people who were they voting for, most of them out of fear, because the kind of, the kind of dominance one has seen of power as in Uttar Pradesh have said the BJP. When you dug further and you said you were a non-BJP sympathizer, that's when they opened up. So let's not step ahead of ourselves. These numbers do tell a story, but I don't think that's the entire picture, and this picture is going to considerably change come the 10th of March. These are only exit poll numbers, firstly.
Sanju
because
Verma?
the real issues on the ground continue to be price rise. They continue to be
Supriya Shinde says, picture abhi baki hai, don't pop the bubbly just because, or the Ganga Jal, I mean, whatever it is that you think is the right thing to pop, but wait till the results come out on the 10th, Sanju.
You're cooler.
Okay. Rahul, I want to say first and foremost that the BJP is not a party which builds flaky castles in the air. We are confident of a victory because we work very hard for it. I think you have said it umpteen times, and I'll simply rephrase that. Be it Narendra Modi, be it JP Nadda, be it Amit Shah, be it the entire battalion of leaders. These are 24/7 politicians. These are not part-time politicians and full-time vacationers. Point number 2, a lot has been said about BJP's caste arithmetic, social engineering. I was listening to some of the panelists a while back. The fact of the matter is, I will now borrow Rajdeep Sardesai's phrase, beyond caste, beyond social engineering, beyond the religious Hindu consolidation or Muslim consolidation. The big vote bank today is the Labharti, the beneficiary. And I think the Congress has become the proverbial ostrich with its head buried under the sand. It refuses to look at facts in the eye. And I will say the same for the Samajwadi party, because the Congress is not even in the running. The Congress is only in the running in television studios. On the ground, the Congress today is a big zero, and I'll tell you why. Be it Western UP, be it Rohilkhand, Bundelkhand, Purvanchal, Central UP, the reason why there is a sweep, there is a landslide which has never happened for an incumbent sitting chief minister, which will happen this time for the first time in 3 decades, is because of simply this. And I'll take 30 seconds to wrap up. During COVID, more than one side, 15 crore people were fed, given free ration every month only in the state of Uttar Pradesh. 1.5 crore people benefited under the free electricity Saubhagya scheme. More than 1 crore women in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, the campaigning is over. People have already decided what they thought of all those claims, and they seem to have backed them in style. One second. No. You made that point. I want to go across to Sharad Pradhan, who in the commentary that he did during the poll seemed to suggest that he was picking up an SP wave or an anti-Yogi sentiment, anti-Modi sentiment. It seems that, at least from this poll, there's a big difference between what you were picking up and what the poll is suggesting, Mr. Pradhan.
Well, I never said there was an SP. I always said it's a tight fight. It's a tough fight between the two. But yes, if this is to be believed, then I must say that issues like stray cattle, as Rajdeep pointed out, issues like unemployment, price rise have been of no meaning. And BJP has succeeded in its campaign, which I felt was a lot based on half-truths and falsehood. And its bombardment of advertisements has eventually overwhelmed people. And what has come as a game changer is the Labharti factor, on which the BJP was heavily dependent, and was hoping that it would impress upon people that so much of freebies that they are getting,
let's explore just a minute now. No, Sanjuji, just a minute. Let's explore this Labharti factor. Sandeep Shastri, it's not as if welfareism started only in 2014. What seems to have happened with DBT is that the delivery systems tend to reach those who need it the most, no doubt about that. The BJP claims, for example, in UP that there are about 15 crore beneficiaries of various programs in a state with a 25 crore population. Do you believe that this is the constituency that is making the difference? Is welfareism so potent that people forget about joblessness, and joblessness is a crisis, that people forget about COVID management, COVID was a problem, and suddenly say, I'm a Labharti, the BJP has made sure that I get my ration, and that's enough for me to vote for them.
Rajdeep, I have one point.
No, he's been waiting. Yes.
Rajdeep ji, Sanjay ji is there, Rahul ji is there. We have found in our surveys and studies that and there is empirical proof for this, if the voter on the ground finds that the schemes, welfare programs, which the government is taking care of, actually reaches the people, the benefit of that has gone to a ruling party. I think there is sufficient empirical evidence to prove that point. So if the trends are going to be the way the exit poll that India Today TV is showing, if it goes in that direction, and the point you are making about Labhartis, I think it is a reflection of the fact that
are you saying, sorry to interrupt, are you saying, Dr. Shastri, that if my son doesn't have a job, if my son is simply whiling away his time, as we saw in a number of places in UP, but the mother of the house is getting her 5 kilos of ration every 15 days in the last 3 months, earlier it was once a month, that's enough? If my father is a kisan who's getting
nothing is ever enough, Rajdeep. They look at the options, they take a choice.
No, I'm just
they
asking.
made a choice.
No, I'm just asking whether that is sufficient. Are we saying that welfareism, basic delivery is enough, particularly in the poorer parts, and the BJP has done even better as per the exit poll as you go into the poorer parts of UP? That's enough.
Rajdeep, there is no shadow of doubt that there is the fact of unemployment, the fact of poverty, the fact of rising prices is something on the minds of the voter, no doubt about it. But while that is on the mind of the voter, the fact that if there are certain welfare schemes that has worked, that there are certain benefits that have reached homes, that is likely to trump other factors, especially when it has made a significant difference in your life and livelihood. Now, it's not that the challenges are not there. But you see
the one factor which isn't being spoken of enough is just the magic of Yogi Adityanath. Now, a lot of people who may be watching may find this a bit awkward or at odds with their beliefs, but Yogi Adityanath has emerged as a chief minister who has the trust and the faith of the voters of Uttar Pradesh. According to this exit poll by Access My India for India Today, 55% of the respondents in this poll wanted to see Yogi Adityanath as the next chief minister of the state. In comparison, Akhilesh Yadav came in at 35%. The data is wrong, so pardon us, but 35% wanted Akhilesh Yadav to be the next chief minister, but a very substantial majority wanting Yogi Adityanath. And what does this mean, Rahul Verma, in the pantheon of national politics? Yogi Adityanath with 288 kind of seats, Rahul Srivastava, where does that put him in the flanks of BJP leaders?
Number 2.
You think
BJP.
so?
Definitely, Raj. Rahul, see, what Yogi Adityanath will achieve for the BJP if he wins the election, if he wins it with such a resounding number, he would have done something in UP's history which nobody has ever done. And remember, a saffron-robed chief minister could not be removed when few months back we had murmurs against him, because if the BJP has to pursue Hindutva, then a saffron-robed chief minister can't be removed. That means a saffron-robed chief minister who has won UP despite a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic is a very big political figure, and I think that's where the competition starts within the BJP, that if he is emerging star, then what happens to
Sheila
somebody
Bhatt
like
has
Amit
sharp
Shah?
insights on this. The central leadership thought 220, 230, 240, this could be more.
No, I'm not with popular thinking in Delhi journalists that Yogi will be number 2.
You don't think so?
No, not at all, because the way BJP is running since 2013, I would say, 13 onwards, and since 2014, they're from first to, I think, 20, it's Modi. So number 2 is not available.
I want to build on what Sheila Bhatt is saying. In the way that the BJP is right now, there's number 1 from 1 to 10. Everybody else comes only later. Of course, this is a phenomenal victory, make no mistake about it.
Secondly,
but who comes number 2 is a battle for much later. It's not a battle for today.
Number 2 will come only when Modi decides. Modi
Do you think Modi will decide who number 2 is?
Modi and with the combination of consensus within RSS.
Can I counter that to say, Sheila, to say that if Yogi Adityanath continues to do the work that he's done, he could have, by the end of his second term, if this term were to happen, have built enough of a base to stake his claim?
No, stake it in politics, it never happens like that, not even in Congress, not even in TMC. You can, Narsi Rao, PV Narsi Rao, after losing election, I had a meeting with him and I very softly asked him that, Mr. Rao, what do you think, will Sonia Gandhi take over as president? So he said, have you read Congress Constitution? So I said, yeah, I know how it is. So he said, why are you asking me? All politics happens around the tradition set in the party, and BJP is a very big party and it believes in tradition and the way system works. It doesn't, and even Modi has worked through the system, not outside the system. That's why Rajnath Singh is so important in that trajectory. So Yogi is far, far away, and why I don't know why Delhi people never understand this.
No, also let's be...
It doesn't work like that. It has to work.
Let's ask Rakesh ji. Let's bowl a googly to Rakesh ji.
Nobody has done what Yogi has done,
this
and
whole...
the BJP says
just a minute. This whole
I have
Yogi...
a lot of answers to
Yeah,
give.
this whole Yogi, Modi, this whole thing, who will succeed Mr. Modi, and if this big victory that we are predicting in the exit poll comes, what does it do to Yogi? It certainly raises his stature within the BJP pantheon. Let's make no mistake about that. He will be a focus. But the Modi factor is also critical. Remember, out of all the state elections that have taken place after 2019, some of where BJP suffered setbacks and came down, even in Haryana and BJP vote share came down, Mr. Modi was not on the ticket. In my view, and this way, Mr. Modi today is on the UP ticket. This is his karma bhumi. This is where there's a direct connect between Mr. Modi and Uttar Pradesh in a way that it is not there with Bihar,
Rahul.
in a way it is not there with Haryana, in a way it is not there with Maharashtra. Gujarat is his Janma Bhumi, and Modi and his entire machine, and there's a media propaganda machine also, has made sure that people recognize Mr. Modi as from Varanasi. And in eastern UP in particular, that makes a difference. But you want to answer Rahul's straight question, is Yogi, if these numbers are right, your number 2? Is he now number 2 if these numbers are right?
No, I think Bharatiya Janata Party... No. Look,
You're asking him a googly, then let him
not
back.
an objective type question. I am just answering
Rahul,
that.
just one
Prime
line.
Minister Modi's leadership is very decisive leader, very successful leader in the party. There is no question of thinking about who will be successor, who will be number 2. Party is being run on the basis of democratic constitution and tradition, what Sheila ji has rightly pointed out. But one thing I will point out that here Uttar Pradesh elections victory, much credit will go to Prime Minister Modi, because his leadership, the intent of his leadership, people have faith in his intention. There may be many issues which are unresolved or partially resolved, but the people have the faith in Prime Minister Modi. Second important thing that people always criticize Prime Minister Modi in terms of Hindutva and the communal politics, majoritarian politics, but you fail to see the meaningful welfare state has been inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi. Till now, the welfare state was symbolic, and the people.
You're not answering. You're not answering Rahul's question.
No, this is not to be but Prime Minister. We have the leader, most successful leader, most acceptable leader, and most credible leader we have. Why should we think in those terms? We are not the Mughal ruler.
No, but can I point out
we
a
have a
very
leader who will think that
significant data point that helps understand why people voted for the BJP, if at all they did. So on the question of why you voted for the party that you did, and when you look at BJP voters, because they thought that the BJP could help improve the condition of UP, Rajya ke Vikas ke liye comes in at number 1 at 27%. Because of the party itself, so amongst BJP voters, they voted for the BJP because of the party, 12%. Kanun Vyavastha achhi hui, improvement in law and order, 10%. CM candidate, 7%. CM candidate is amongst the top choices. Rajya Sarkar Yojana ke tahat free ration. So free ration comes in at 11%. If you come down that rank, Sarkari Yojanaon ka labh mila. Labharthi is 9%, Prime Minister Modi 8%. So it's not as if there's only one factor. Rahul Verma, it's a combination of factors, including just the belief that BJP was best suited for Rajya ke Vikas ke liye to develop the state. That's the reality.
Yes, there are many factors in any election, and it seems from this data that BJP seems to be doing well on most of those factors. So the way I think about elections are won or lost on accumulated sentiments on 5 things. One is the ideological platform or narrative. The second one is basically social coalition. Third one is leadership. Fourth one is there are 2 other factors, right? So basically on those five factors, BJP seems to stand perhaps taller or 1 or 2 points ahead of SP, but the kind of gap this survey is basically showing of more than 10 percentage point gap between 2, I think that's a lot. And then basically BJP being able to head, and I also want to join that to Adityanath's point. So far everyone was basically thinking that if BJP is going to get hurt in UP in terms like if 50, 60, 70 seats come down, it's largely because of perhaps Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and the way he governed the state. But now we are talking in a very, very different world where Adityanath not only returns back, but returns back with a bigger victory.
We'll come with the headlines in a moment, but to take your point forward, and I think this is important for viewers to recognize, because we traditionally see UP through the prism of caste, and especially in the post-Mandal age, post-1990, we've seen it. One community, and this is just an illustration, SC non-Jatav, that's the non-Jatav Dalit. For years we thought कि मायावती का जो वोट है वो 22% का वोट है, that is Jatav plus non-Jatav. इस बार क्या हुआ है? SC non-Jatav, BJP 51%, and this confirms what CSPS also found out in 2019 Lok Sabha. SP 27%, that's almost less than half of that. BSP only 15%. So Mayawati, we have seen her as a Dalit icon, but even within the non-Jatav Dalits, who are 11% of UP, only other 11 are Jatavs, she gets only 15% of that. Take a look at what happens within the Kurmi, the other OBCs. Now, traditionally, these other OBCs are the largest block of UP. This is where Amit Shah got it right. He recognized Yadav are with Mulayam Akhilesh. Dalits, by and large, at that time were seen to be with Mayawati. Muslims were seen to be with whoever between Mayawati and Mulayam would give them power. The non-Yadav OBCs were critical. As per this Axis survey, 65%, which is slightly less than last time. The 2019 was about 70%. They are at 65. SP.
And this is why these numbers are a bit confusing, because they so 2019 BJP plus vote share were 42% overall. Now what we are projecting is 46, but in every segment, and I got to look at this just for 2 minutes, in every segment BJP's vote from 2019 is down.
No, 1 minute. They got 49.5%. Let us assume they will come down by 3-4% compared to 2019. Right? Okay. But they are coming up from 2017. 2017 they got 39%. As per this survey, they are going up from that 39%. So they are actually doing better as per this survey. And remember,
Rajdeep, I can't resist because you are citing various segments of voter. Also look at in the data, 27% women, and 72% men. And the party which is getting 46% vote has a lead among women voters by 16%. And the sample in generally they are 48% of the total voters. But they are only 27-28% in the sample. How can a party get 46% votes in a...
We'll get Pradeep to debate that, because that's an important point. My point, sir, is this.
Since you were advocating for how BJP has been able to get to 46% vote, I thought this is also an important data.
Can I suggest
this is also an important data to be cited to the viewers.
But I'm just trying to tell you, when I look across castes, at the end of the day, we have had a traditional impression of UP of the way the castes are divided. Now we have seen, and if these numbers, and it's a big if these numbers are right for 4 successive elections, 2014, 2017, 2019 and 2022, the BJP has completely upturned UP's traditional caste arithmetic. 65% versus 70%. They got even more in 2019. There was a wave that time. But this is, if these numbers are right, also a wave. And significantly, they got 39% of the vote. Rahul in 2017, they are up to 46. And what has happened? I'll tell you, we must realize this. It has become two-cornered. But the gap is 10%. BSP, which was a 20% party, as per this poll is down to 12%. Congress, which was a 5% party, is down to 3%. No, so in the Dhuvikaran, except, and viewers must know this, there are only 38 constituencies in UP where Muslim plus Yadav are more than 50%. And those are the constituencies where the SP is winning. Outside that, the SP doesn't have an incremental vote. Incremental votes come to the BJP.
Any political party,
as per this survey,
any political party which is not inclusive or trying to become inclusive cannot rule any state.
So Sanjay Kumar, here's what seems to have happened according to this poll, and I want you to build on it. There's been a massive Yadav and Muslim consolidation in favor of the Samajwadi party. 83% of the Muslims, 86% of the Yadavs. But there has been, as Amit Shah predicted, a massive non-Yadav, non-Muslim consolidation for the BJP, including breaking away the Mayawati non-Jatav Dalit vote, which is one of the reasons why the BJP is doing better than most people probably thought.
Nowhere I am trying to suggest that these polls are off the mark or BJP is not leading. If Rajdeep had been saying that he wrote an article op-ed 10 days ago, I can say I have been maintaining this stand for the last 4 months that BJP is winning these elections. Nowhere I have said that BJP is not winning election. I still maintain that stand. But my only anxiety is about the extent of BJP's victory. That's my only anxiety.
So Pradeep Gupta is joining us. Come Pradeep, join us. We'll take you through the headlines and we'll ask Pradeep all these questions. Why is he showing a bigger victory than all other pollsters? Is it he's come dancing down the track again? He's saying BJP is going to whack it out of the park. Will it whack it out of the park or will Pradeep Gupta get stumped? That's the question. We'll look at that. But here are the headlines we're tracking at 9.